I've made a couple videos on how contractors scam customers. I haven't made a video yet on how customers scam contractors. I've been a contractor for 30 plus years, and I've seen my fair share of customers that intentionally and purposefully try to scam us contractors while we're out on a job. And in fact, after 30 years of running multiple crews, you can start to see certain patterns in customers. And we've developed certain techniques inside of our business that help protect us from letting those scams get too far out of control. But in today's video, we're gonna go talk about that exact scenario and how it just recently happened to us again last year. And we didn't catch it quite in time this time. Now, one of the things I learned pretty early on in my business was that collecting from a customer that is happy is a heck of a lot easier than collecting from a customer that's having issues with your work. But also pretty early on in my business, I realized that some customers will leverage that knowledge to negotiate a contractor down on the work that they're doing. They'll either try to get freebies on the job while the contractor's working, or at the end of the project, try to get a discount on the overall price of the job. Now, the key to keeping that from happening is to not let your problems all happen at the end. It's the key is to have all of your problems happen in the middle of your job. But I think we're getting a little bit ahead of the story. So let's run out to Alex's job site. We actually meet up with Alex. I forgot to mention that to solve a lot of our problems and to keep customers happy all the way through their job, which is what every contractor really wants, we use what's called the 20-minute rule. But before we get into the 20-minute rule, let's go out and see what actually happened on Alex's job site. If you look on your left, that's a leaf plow. Did you miss it? Well, let's back it up and check it out because it's really cool. It's just designed to push leaves and debris off from the public streets. At least I think it's cool. All right, guys, next we're gonna meet Alex. He's one of our project foremen. In fact, he's pretty much runs our jobs from start to finish. And he's out working right now on a small paver patio and some stuff like that. Oh, you got some steps you're working on too? So I was just telling these guys, you pretty much take over, you run our projects from start to finish. And last year, Tim was actually on a project. So Tim and I, we always come out to every single one of the jobs and at least visit them. But last year, Tim actually worked side by each with you on the project. And the project that we were working on was a massive retaining wall, wasn't it? I mean, we were talking 10 feet tall, double tiers, but the tiers weren't even normal tiers. They actually tied back into the retaining wall.
Yeah, it was like a little planter box off the front of the wall that, so outside 90, then inside 90, and then the wall went straight across.
And wrapped all the way back in. So it was a complicated design. We had engineering done on it. We had permitting done on it. We had inspections done on it, multiple inspections done on it. And I was just telling these guys about the 20-minute rule that we have, and that has helped us stay out of problems.
Yeah.
You want to tell them what the 20-minute rule is that we use around here?
Yeah, that you spend 20 minutes with the customer and you talk with them, and you basically want to make them your friend. You know, you want to, you don't want to just be a worker in their yard. You want to be a friend that comes by and helps them with their projects. You know,
you want to take the weight of the job off from their shoulders, put it on your shoulders, and let them know that they're in good hands. The short version of the story is when I realized that it's really tough for your grandma to fire you. It's real, you know, if you actually try to view your customers as someone that's important in your life and treat them like that genuinely, you're going to have a great relationship. And that happens when you spend 20 minutes a day just communicating with the customer. So what happened with your job?
So, I mean, at first it started off, you know, they had a busy schedule, you know, so they weren't really always around, but they would come back for lunch, and you know, I would know they were back for lunch, and they would let their dog out, and I'd go and try to knock on the door to get some input on what we got going on. I like to bring them into the backyard. Hey, how's this looking? You want us to change anything? Well, we still have the time to change it. And unfortunately, they would almost kind of avoid us in the whole situation, and it got to the point where we went home one day and we had built a great portion of the wall, and or they had texted Tim and told him that hey, you know, there's some chips in the block on the lower courses. I don't really like the way that it looks. I mean, nothing structural about the block itself was compromised. It was basically just the aesthetics of it, which 90% of the walls we put in have minor chips in there. I mean, it's concrete block, and it tends to get chips, you know. So it was unfortunate that she had texted Tim and told him, hey, you know, there's some chips in the lower courses, you know, I kind of want you guys to pull those out and replace them. Well, you know, it would have been nice if we could have caught her at lunchtime and said, hey, you know, why don't you come back and take a look, check out our progress and see how we're doing. But never could get a hold of her, you know.
Right.
So,
right. It was one of those deals, and we're changing the names and everything about it. So this could be a male, could be a female. We're just calling it a he, she. So you're gonna hear us say he. You're gonna say she. We're gonna say they. We're not gonna throw our customer under the bus.
yeah.
But what we're trying to do is familiarize other contractors with some of the ways that customers can make a job a lot more difficult. And one of the things that we do is on the daily, the 20-minute rule is every day, try to get the customer to spend up to 20 minutes of time just talking about your project, talking about how their job went at their work, whatever happened. It doesn't make a difference. Just communicate and connect with the customer, and that lets us get familiar with the customer's expectations, right? Because like what you see in your mind and what I see in my mind may not be what the customer sees in their mind. I'm going to tell you right now, my wife and I can't even, she can't visualize anything. My wife can't visualize. I got to draw everything out for her. And when I started to realize people can't automatically visualize things like creative people like you and I can visualize, it really helps if we take the time to sit down with them. And you actually called me while this job was going on, and you're like, I can't get this guy to even come and answer the door. I see him in there.
Yeah, I've seen him burning out of the garage a few times as I was walking around the house. There they were going down the road. I almost wheels spinning out of there, you know. So
trying to get away from you,
trying to avoid it. Yeah, because I mean, anytime I get a second, hey, how's this look? Like for example, this customer here, she just peeked out the door to take a peek, and I said, hey, why don't you come take a look at this real quick and tell me what you think about this? How's it looking? And she gave me your input. She says it looks great, and you know, if she would have came on and said, oh, you know what, I'm not very fond of this or this, you know, then I could quickly change it because I'm still in the phase of being able to change it. So I mean, even if it's a second or a minute, I'll still grab them as often as I can, you know. But this customer, no communication.
The problem was that this customer then only had an issue after we had almost 8 foot of wall entirely built, engineered, geogrid, compacted, terraces on top of it.
Oh yeah.
And then we get the phone call. Hey, and they weren't, like Alex says, oh, we're going to actually take you out and show you what these chips look like on a different wall, because they are, I don't know, I forgot how Versalock puts it, they are within spec.
Yeah, they are within their spec. It doesn't compromise the structural integrity of the wall in any way by having those chips in there. It's just mostly the aesthetics. And I believe Tim and a guy from Versalock, because Versalock's great, I mean, they helped us out so much. I've seen them in their parking lot testing stuff out, like a patching, you know, to try to get the best, most matching color they could possibly find, you know. And then Tim and a guy from Versalock actually came out there and patched a bunch of them. Yeah, Jim. And they called again and said, hey, there's a few more patches or a few more chips I want you to come out here and patch. And I mean, these chips are so minuscule. I mean, it was...
So communication, what we have found to be the most effective deterrent to having a problem on the job, is to communicate on a day-to-day basis. So when we're on a big hardscaping job like this, every single day we connect with that customer, check with them, make sure that everything meets their standards and that what we're building matches up with their vision. It's the only way we can do it, to make sure that when we get to the end of a job, all we got to do is put our hand out so they can put a check in it first and then shake it right afterward. Yep. All right, well, I'll let you keep going. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate the input on that one. So if we actually go through this wall and just take a closer look at this wall, things like this on our walls, they get removed and replaced. It was not things like that that were the issue. It were things right here. Do you see this manufactured seam right there? You see this part right there? That chip. Right here is another chip, just one block down. And these corners do tend to chip off over time. And when they're stacking them on the pallets, or you picking them up and moving them around before they get put into their final resting place, just that movement can create these microchips. Again, these are not structural, these are pure aesthetic, but that's what we got called out on. But the problem was, it wasn't at the top of the wall like it is here. It was 8 foot down on a bottom terrace with another wall being supported by it, and it was 2 foot up on a 10 foot tall wall. So it made it a lot bigger challenge than it actually needed to be if it would have been addressed to us right away, because we would have just removed those blocks and sent them to the side and just taken the extra time to make sure that the wall had 0 micro defects in it. So we're actually stopping by Blaine's site right now, just because I wanted to show you one of the walls that we actually built, what they look like. I'm crossing my fingers hoping this turns out good, but Blaine was telling me a story that there's another kind of scam that happened. What happened with this?
I don't know the full story, but when we came here, the old wall was already taken out, so there was just a hole in the ground.
But the other contractor started the job and then just...
Yeah, and just left them.
Just left them high and dry.
So we came and built this one last year, and then liked it, and so we got 2 more that we're working on, plus they added a patio in the back.
In the back. All right, so I'm gonna, hey, will you hold this? I'm gonna just hop down here real quick. What I'm looking for is on a job that Alex and Tim did last year. The customer was having real issues with some of the with some of the details of the block. So this isn't the first time I've seen this. This is a wall that Blaine built last year. So as we look at this, this is one of our projects. Let's zoom in. This. See these little microchips? Look. Here's another one. Kind of look down. I'm not seeing it here. That was what we were up against. Last year. But the wall was 10 feet tall. Yeah. And then the customer came out and we tried.
Nitpick in the little corner.
And my experience is customers that do that sometimes have a very valid reason, but other times it's a negotiating tool. Thank you, sir. All right, well, good enough. And that's our video for today. Wanted to take you through, let you see what we were up against on a project, on what, good customers, bad customers, valid issues, some things that may not be so valid, but customers use as negotiating tools. And now I want to hear your customer story, because I bet you guys got some doozies, and I love them doozies. So lay it on me. Let me hear your story in the comments down below. Hit that subscribe button, and I've got more stories of scams, more stories of jobs. I've been doing this for 30 years, running 5 crews. This is how I make my living. I don't do anything but this, so I've done it my entire life. Got lots of stuff I'd love to share with you guys. If you guys want to hear it, let me know. God bless. Go get them, you guys. We'll catch you on another one. A little sneak peek. This is going up north because of a no-see-em scam, but we're gonna get this loaded up and head north. So that's coming down the pipeline, you guys. The no-see-em scam is coming next. God bless. Go get them, you guys. If you like heavy equipment running, well, it's not that heavy, but old janky equipment running. We got an old janky. I do. We got, if you like heavy equipment, you like old janky equipment. Whoop, 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 whoop.
It's like a glove.
Yeah.
Those little corks.
As long as you don't mind a glove that rattles and shakes and bangs and jars your teeth out at the end of the day. God bless. Go get it, you guys. We'll catch you on another one.